Hello, my name is Robert Cooper, and I built Scatpack browser terminal, and that's my desktop website right there. What this program does is it allows you to run any command from a browser, any browser. Could be Brave, Chromium, Chrome, Firefox, any browser. It uses the JavaScript HTML page as the front end. It uses the socat listening port software as the middleman or intermediate between the web page and Bash, or if you're a Python programmer, you could use Python. So basically what this system does is you can use any web-based, any kind of language that you can run through a browser. You could use that. Any language you could run through your system. On Windows, it could be PowerShell. We've got that set up on one test. It could be Python or Bash on a Linux system. You could actually use C if you wanted. I'm sure it's more difficult. And on the if this is installed, eventually we'll have a setup. But if this is installed on a online web server, then PHP can be used as the back-end processor. And so this first password is a session password. The user executes the server. It's just a bash script with a socat. It executes that, which I did, enters a password here, and this is the password the user sets. So regardless of whether this web page is on their system, on their local network, on the internet, or on someone else's computer around the world, they set the password, the user does. And this is to protect from being having access, because the connection from the web page, whether it's local, network, internet, or remotely done on someone else's computer, this password is set by the user who's running the web page, and he gets entered here. And when the interface comes up, it asks for the same password. And those passwords have to be the same. If I put the wrong password in, I'll do that. I'll put something else in here, right? I'll put B, right? Wrong password entered, okay? And I can't use it. So what I have to do is I have to go refresh, and I have to put the right password in. And then it'll let me in. It tells me this is an interface that allows execution of system commands, and you can destroy your system. Please don't if you don't know what you're doing. And I'll put a terms of use here, and a help link here too, where you can go to the website and get information about the commands and how to use this system. So we're here. Now, this box down here is just a terminal output. There's just a read-only. This is your terminal right here. You have full control. You can run sudo commands here. You can run just regular commands, right? So we're going to run an ls of the directory, and there's the files I have in the directory. Here is the server. Start server actually starts both the front end and the back end. The back end's named HTTP backend, of course. Front end is this interface here. This front end.html is this whole complete interface right here, and the back end is a preprocessor where it sets the passwords. It also does encryption. The password is set to a token that's encrypted with AES-256, and the actual connection is a open SSL connection between the when you're running remote. But right now I'm running this all local, so I'm not using that actual encryption. But if this was to be here on my local computer, and I'm actually manipulating and controlling a computer that's on the internet or around the world, it would use SSH into that person's computer, and it would set up two socats, one on his computer and one on my computer, and those socats would communicate from this web page to their command processor, which is Bash or Python, which I wouldn't do, but I use Bash, all encrypted through SSH. the token's encrypted with a different encryption, and the actual command, if the commands are sent, let me show you this here. This interface here is a little different process. It uses a single socat to manipulate commands on a person's computer, right? And this one here is a little different as far as the encryption's done. And this one here is completely encrypted. The token's encrypted. The command stream is encrypted, and the because there's ways of running commands from this computer to the other computer. It's done a little different, and then it is a secure SSL connection using a self-signed certificate from point to point. And this technology that I've developed will eventually be able to use for point-to-point file transfer, point-to-point distribution of software, and on and on and on. The sky's the limit. And when I say sky's the limit, this system will work eventually on a Mac, like I've got up here, Mac, Linux, and Windows. We've already tested on Windows using PowerShell, and it works. We're not there yet. I need a lot of investment and help with programmers to get this all done, but eventually we'll get there. But the technology that I've developed is like nothing ever before. Yeah, people they've stuck terminals and terminal emulators into web pages like this before, right? But they're listeners in the back, right? They're actually they're back-end processors, and to some extent this is true. But the thing is, this is the terminal right here. If I blew this screen up, it's just command entry, but it's a terminal. This is a full-fledged 100% terminal. You're running in the background, not through a bash script. That is the terminal. All right. This is the output of the terminal. Now, if I open this is Yak GUI. Yak GUI is a graphical user interface dialogue system, where like Windows, you have command prompt or CMD. That's basically the Windows terminal. In Linux, you have a terminal emulator. This is the output basically from here. This over here is real time. If I click on LS, you see it comes here. Well, over here it did too fast. Over here, this is after the command is finished. Over here is real time. Okay, and I can actually write, and I've proven this. I've done it through testing. I can run a command on someone else's computer over the internet, and this will wait a couple seconds and come up. This is real time. And what it does is the output on the other person's computer gets piped down a bi-directional, socat bi-directional, to this window in YAD. And this is called a tail, a TAIL, loopback or feed into an actual text file, and the text file actually gets read into YAD. And it's not super sophisticated for someone that doesn't do this or messed around with YAD or dialogue or K-dialogue. It'll probably be so like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, it's not super sophisticated. This system right here, all right, other than maybe the high, more technical, complex JavaScript that powers this, but in a simplistic way, a 13-year-old kid, a techie, a geeky, could build a system like this in 4 hours. I guarantee it. I know enough about this that I've done for 5 years now. I am going to make this so that a 13-year-old kid can build their own custom interfaces, their own limited JavaScript display interfaces like this, add to a fully customized, running this under a Joomla content management system. Joomla is really super easy to install. This will run under Joomla. I've already tested it. You have to use the add-ons extension, which allows you to run PHP and JavaScript under a Joomla system, and this will run under it. So imagine the most sophisticated, best ever-looking web page that you've ever, or system you've ever built in your life, even as a high-end programmer, and then put this under it. And it doesn't have to be this. It can be. Oh, come on. Do you have to really do this? This is Cloudflare. Yeah, it could be this. This is a JavaScript desktop. This thing runs 100% in a browser, and it's on the internet. This is another version. I think I've spoken briefly before. This is another version of our Scatpack software. This one is 20 buttons. You can actually change the link in real time. You can change the name in real time. You can change the category. So you could have like company, John's company, all these 20 buttons or 10 buttons to John's company, and then 10 buttons down here that that are for actions, manipulation, control on John's company. And it's easy enough to do with JavaScript, but I'm going to give it away for free. Is you could have 10 tabs up here. You could have 20 buttons or 100 buttons per tab. So you can have between, say, 20 to 2,000 buttons and run every command. And you can modify these buttons. And okay, so what happens is that when the buttons are saved, it's saved to the, as you're making changes here, it's saved into the browser online storage area, which is different than cache, but it's a storage area, right? So when you close and open the browser, it comes back. Or you click on profile and you can load those, they're loaded right now, right? I can go down here and change everything on these buttons. I can change the name, I can change the category, I can change the link. And then after I'm done, I name the profile, I give it a description, John's company, I call it John's whatever, and I say the current profile. And then the profile is going to show up here. You could have how many profiles you want for anything different. And then when you want to go to a different company or a different purpose, say you have 20 buttons for your own local maintenance on your Linux system, or you want to go to your sister's Windows system, you load your sister's profile, you log into her system, now you got 20 buttons to do her system with it too. Now this is not remote desktop connectivity. That's not what this is at this point. It's a patch between that, and this is a full function JavaScript. If I open say open these back up like that, and if I go down here and go close all, it closes them all. This is an actual desktop. It's not an XFCE or a KDE desktop, but it's a desktop. Okay, enough of that. Let's go back to the Scatpack. So here we have. And close these. And am I here? That's so we don't need that, and we don't need that. Okay, we're back to the Scatpack, okay? And clear. There's our live feedback from this. This is on local system right now. So I'm going to run a sudo command, all right? You saw how the password worked as far as getting into the system itself. Well, we're going to run sudo app get update. This is sudo command. It requires administrative level permission, right? And I'm going to click that. Here's another. This is YAG-GUI over here. I'm going to change this to on top all time. So if I click off it, it stays there. This is actually going to send the password over here to the terminal, all right? So I'm going to type in my sudo pass. If I put the wrong one in, it won't take it, but it does work. And I'm going to run my, enter my sudo password, and I'm going to run that command. And you watch. What did I say? Okay, try it again. Not sure how that happened. Maybe I typed it in wrong. I could be on capital letters right now. Let's see. No, I'm not. I'm not. Let's see. I may have to, since I switched my browser, I may have to restart this. Yep. So let's do that. Let's go restart. All right, and see if we can run it again. I'm not sure. I had to refresh the web page and put the login password back in. So basically, we're going to type in my sudo password, and you'll see over here how fast this is. And then it finally shows up over here. So this over here is real time, and what it's doing is it's feeding the output, the STD out from the terminal from here to here in real time, and this is after after the command's run. It's just the way the system's set up. I can actually make this over here. If you do it that way into the read-only terminal, it can break and all of a sudden stop. So it's just the way I got it set up. It's more of a let's not break this because I don't need to see it real time. I can see real time over here. And I do have a clear function that works on the other computer. I actually made a shell script that when you click clear, it actually clears the screen with just dots on the left side. This isn't doing that, but it does work on the other one. So that's the system, and the sky's the limit on this. You can do anything possible. The desktop commands that you could not do because they're browser related now can be done through this. The browser-related commands, options that you can't do in a browser other than through my software, right? You can't do those. You can now do those. There's nothing that can't be done through this system. I mean nothing. And eventually, we've already tested on Linux and Windows, and I know for a fact it'll work on Mac too. All you have to have, all right, is compatible front end like this. Everything. This is compatible with anything. You could run this on an Android app, on an Android system, on a phone or a tablet, because they have a browser. You know, and you can control your local computer. You can control your Raspberry Pi multimedia system with this page through your network. Think about that. You can, for the more advanced people, you can run this and you can control in somewhat of a predetermined, pre-programmed graphical interface on your end any server in the world remotely and secure. That's where this is going to go. So thank you for your time. Feel free to comment, questions, criticism. I know there's going to be some people who say like you shouldn't do this because you're getting around the security protocols of the browser. Those security protocols should not have been done like they were 35 years ago. That's just my opinion. This here, a 13-year-old kid who builds their own systems, that's the terminal. And if they have their pseudo password on that computer, this system does nothing different than what they can do in the terminal. So this isn't like enabling hackers. Hackers don't need any help. Hackers don't have to have my software to do what they do, right? This isn't for Kali and white hat testing. This is for building. Someone can build their own complete computer web terminal, or they can build a complete here we go again. Complete custom browser JavaScript desktop. And there you go. So that'll be enough of that. Thank you for watching. Again, leave your comments down below. I'm also looking for investors. I'm also looking for programmers that know more than I do that can help me extend this and make it go snowball. And let's give power to the people.